A charismatic main character with a hellishly interesting story, an extensive multi-threaded plot, advanced physics, radio stations rich in hits of various music genres, wonderful graphics, and an atmospheric metropolis filled to the brim with curiosities. All these aspects are only some of the advantages that GTA 4 has. While listing all these advantages, the question arises whether there's any possibility that something could go wrong with such a production. In our opinion, no, but the reality shows otherwise. Because while people like us, that is, those who love GTA 4, are not lacking, there are as many opponents of this game, or even more. What happened that so many people didn't like this game? And why wasn't it as successful as GTA San Andreas, which, despite the passage of 19 years since the release, is still very popular? Since the beginning of the GTA series, the developers have accustomed us to many schemes. When we look at GTA 4, it will quickly turn out that it's very easy to notice a withdrawal from a certain style. In this case, we're talking specifically about the game model. If you've had the opportunity to play most of GTA from the 2D or 3D universe, you've obviously noticed that these games present a kind of arcade and a specific image of the presented world. The characters look a bit cartoony, and the same can be said about the sandbox we have at our disposal. In the context of arcades, you can also add vehicle controls, which from the very beginning of the series were, although not very realistic, very simple and pleasant. In GTA 4, we're dealing with something completely different. All the infrastructure and architecture have been made more real. The same is the case with characters who look much more serious, and it's difficult to find a kind of caricature among them. The model of driving cars or motorcycles doesn't bother us personally, but the opinions of other players in this matter are in most cases completely different. From the very beginning, the driving model, especially with cars, was a real nightmare for players. It's been reported that the cars seem to go sluggishly, like a PowerPoint presentation slide, and the braking distance is unnaturally long. All this makes the player prefer to explore the city by taxi, and this is how he wants to reach the destination. The situation is no better in the case of motorcycles. They are very unstable, so one false move can make Nico quickly hit the curb with his head. Going further, what has changed in GTA 4 as much compared to previous titles is the amount of elements that the player could do typically for fun. We're talking here about aspects of the gameplay that allowed us to remind ourselves that we live in a place where everything is allowed, where we can put a jetpack on our backs, where we can get into a tank to wreak havoc on the streets of the city, and whose presence, by the way, we were very used to in the GTA series, where we can equip the main character with a minigun to make him an unstoppable criminal. Each subsequent installment of the GTA series made us accustomed to the fact that we received more and more of these types of elements. The same, for example, also applies to vehicles in the game. Bicycles, quads, planes, you could say it over and over again. Meanwhile, the streets of Liberty City are deprived of vehicles that definitely should be on these streets. There are no cyclists or skaters in the park. On the other hand, at the airport, we can't get on any plane to have some fun. There was even a military base that could hide some interesting weapons or vehicles, which GTA Vice City is a great example for us. To this day, we remember very well how excited we were when we found the powerful M60 on one of the towers inside the military base. In the context of the 4 fun elements in GTA 4, there are also much fewer cheats available. On the other hand, the ones that already exist, well, they're not particularly great. Most of them concern spawning vehicles and changing the weather, but there are none that would affect the gameplay more. After all, GTA players were used to it and loved the codes from previous parts that made it possible to fly cars and drive them on water, or even make your own DeLorean from Back to the Future. Another huge disadvantage of GTA 4 is the regression in the context of character and vehicle customization. Considering that 4 years before the release of GTA 4, Rockstar gave us GTA San Andreas, which offered hundreds of clothes at our disposal, as well as the ability to tune our ride, in some cases in a very advanced way. Well, GTA 4 once again looks poorly in this comparison. Yes, in GTA 4 there's some slight personalization because clothes are available for purchase, but there's simply not enough of it. We can't change Nico's haircut, tattoo him, or influence his weight or muscles. What also really hurts us and the gaming community is the lack of hideouts and businesses to buy in the game. The creators once again did not implement something that had already been introduced in GTA San Andreas, and which, after all, worked well. In GTA 4, Legal businesses would also fit very well in terms of the storyline, which was aimed at Nico finally breaking free from the criminal underworld. In addition, Roman could inspire Nico to look for something of his own. Unfortunately, the developers decided otherwise in this matter. It's a pity because the lack of character customization and the inability to buy real estate, businesses, or cars was followed by another disadvantage, namely the fact that there's nothing to spend money on in the game. We go on missions, we buy weapons, we earn money, and just like that, the whole circle goes on and on. Okay, from time to time we'll buy Roman a drink or we'll go with him or another friend for a game of darts. But unfortunately, our investments just end there. Moving on, it's necessary to mention a few words about the world presented in the game. It's like we have this open world, 2 bustling cities full of attractions and all. But on the other hand, we still feel a bit overwhelmed by it. The open world in GTA 4 doesn't seem open enough. Considering that the vast majority of players were used to the enormous masses of land in GTA San Andreas, and the fact that each major installment of the series had an increasingly larger map, in GTA 4, we simply felt unsatisfied in this matter again. Interestingly, the developers originally planned to add even more to the GTA 4 map, which would look something like a countryside in GTA San Andreas. The plan, however, fell apart, and we got a very interesting and atmospheric world, but it's not diversified enough. And to make matters worse, the game struggled with many technical problems from the very beginning. Optimization of GTA 4 is a true drama. Today's benchmarks showing how this game can run on the most powerful hardware clearly show us what optimization crap we were dealing with. In this regard, it was quite funny that the game sometimes worked beautifully on some weak PC, which was driving players crazy, who just bought fresh, powerful equipment to play this game. What's more, even today, playing at 60 frames, we will encounter unpleasant difficulties in the game. The most popular example in this regard is the last mission where we need to change the CPU's affinity, forcing the frame rate to drop to complete the mission. Furthermore, players also encounter a lot of errors related to the installation of the game on a PC. Making a trashy deal with games for Windows Live meant we had to spend a lot of time getting the game installed. And we can't forget about the fucked up multiplayer mode on the PC versions as well. Since the multiplayer mode on computers was associated with an expired contract with games for Windows Live, players cannot play it because it's bugged. The case looks so pathetic that the gaming community had to make a fan modification just to fix it. We won't even mention that GTA 4 Online was treated in the same way as Red Dead Online. The game has a couple of classic game modes, some death matches, races, and a couple of missions, and that's it. Even here, Rockstar did not want to introduce businesses or enrich the map with a dose of new content. In our opinion, this was a huge mistake because GTA 4 Online had potential, and Rockstar itself could make a lot of money from it, just like in GTA 5's online mode. Coming back to single player, we've always been given a wide variety of side activities to spend free time, starting from GTA 1. These activities were diverse, and above all, they were a nice escape from the story. In turn, in GTA 4, one can get the impression that this aspect of gameplay has been somewhat forgotten. It's a pity, because Rockstar provided a very good experience in GTA Vice City stories, in which side activities were perfectly matched to the game's atmosphere. After all, we had tasks there, such as air rescue, in which we rescued the local population from various dangers. Beach patrol, where, as the name suggests, we patrolled the beach, or so-called water sports, where we flew on jet skis. Rockstar could conclude from this and prepare activities for players that would fit nicely into the atmosphere of GTA 4. What we think is brilliant in GTA 4, but what we also know that many players may not have liked, looking at the earlier parts of the game, is the story. While Rockstar created what we thought was an awesome storyline, some people found it too serious and too gloomy. The threads presented in the game give you a lot to think about, which in theory is a plus, but not necessarily, because the question is, why do most players play GTA? And here, there's a good chance that some will say no, which is also indicated by the survey that appeared on the channel. Moreover, there's some cognitive dissonance in the story. The point is that during the missions, the creators try to make us understand that Nico was created to be a character that is to be shown in a good light, although for the most part, he kills people for money. And interestingly, this hypocrisy is nicely shown by Darko Brevic during the confrontation with Bellic in the mission That Special Someone.
To the cargo bay at Francis International. I do not want to be late after I've waited so long. Well,
This is the big moment that you've been waiting for so long. I hope you will not be disappointed.
Disappointment is not a consideration. I have not been the same man since the day that Darko betrayed us, since I saw those things.
You lost a lot of friends that day, Nico. We both did.
In some way, my friends from the village were lucky. I lost myself that day too. Everything that was good and innocent in me died along with them. If I could live those hours again, I think I would have preferred to be buried in the pit along with everyone else. This is all that is left of me. What am I good at? What is my trade? Dealing death. Because that is all that is open to me.
This killing must stop sometime, Nico. Once this is done, then you must begin to forgive. Think about your future instead of the horrible things that have happened to you. To us. To all of us. In the past.
After this is done, then we can talk about forgiveness and redemption. Now is not the time for such conversation.
I believe it's shown to be shit. You make strange choices.
Fuck you! Strange choices? How much?
1,000.
You killed my friends for $1,000.
How much do you charge to kill someone?
You ruined me, you fuck!
I needed the money. I had problems.
You're a fucking junkie!
Kill me then! You fucking hypocrite. Trust me. You'll be doing me a favor. Ah! You say I ruined you. You were always a killer. I just helped you see that.
Going into the summary, there are many reasons why GTA 4 suffered a kind of defeat in the eyes of the players. Rockstar didn't think it through, putting everything on making the game as realistic as possible, which in some cases had the opposite effect. They also approached technical matters very carelessly, which made the game unplayable for a long time. Be sure to let us know what you think about GTA 4, and to continue the topic, take a look at the other episodes dedicated to other parts of the GTA series that are currently displayed on your screen. Meanwhile, that would be all. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episodes. Bye!